Here's a quick illustration of how psychology is the underpinning of the Dramatica theory of narrative structure. How does that match up with psychology? Well, let's go to a real life example. You want to do something nice for somebody and you think it's going to have a positive impact because you love them. So you go ahead and you do this nice thing, but it turns out that you didn't get something right about how you understood it, or that they weren't in the mood or something else, and then maybe they feel bad because you were doing something nice and they realize you weren't able to complete it, and they feel sorry for you for not being able to do the nice thing for them. And then you get upset with them because you wanted to do this nice thing, and now you realize there are these restrictions or these requirements or this attitude that they have that comes across as negative. You might even see it as some sort of an abrasive attack at a very light level. And so you get irritated with them because they didn't respond the way you wanted. You didn't get the reward that you wanted for doing something nice for the person that you love. And then you carry a grudge around all day about them. So how does that happen, that you shift from having love to motivate you to do something to having a grudge with them and not even wanting to see them or being snappy with them whenever you see them? How does that occur? Well, it occurs because of time and space. We look at things the way they are, and we also look at our experience and project our expectations over time. And when something then turns out not to be the way we expect it to be, there's a differential between what happened in time and our spatial expectation. What does this have to do with Dramatica and narrative? Well, as it turns out, narrative is all about that differential between time and space, because the mind itself lives in that realm between the immediate response to things and the temporal experience that we have gained projected through that to our expectations. You see, neurons in the brain fire in a binary sense. When they get enough stimulation from the outside environment, through your eyes or your ears or your skin or whatever, it gives you enough information to be able to fire. Now, the neurology has two kinds, spatial summation and temporal summation. In other words, it can be so powerful it makes the neurons fire right away. But if it doesn't reach that action potential, as they call it, then instead it may build up over time. If it builds up but not fast enough, it may go back down. But if it reaches that action potential by building up, and before this goes down, building a little more and a little more, it'll fire it, even though there's no direct external stimulation at that point. And so the biochemistry, which is affected by every firing, can build up to either make a neuron fire when it normally wouldn't have because of a single experience or sensory perception, and other times it can withhold it and make it not fire because of experience that led to things that were negative, and therefore it has these negative neurochemicals that will inhibit the firing, even though normally it would just a sensory perception. Well, I want to keep this short, but just say that model of the differentiation between the binary and the biochemistry is what's at the heart of the Dramatica theory of story, the model that's in Dramatica, and that's what makes it work.